Hello, everybody. So, I'm an English teacher, right? But the first thing I would like to tell you is that there's something wrong with education. Or to be more precise, there's something wrong with the educational system. Now, I know a lot about the Polish educational system, but I'm pretty certain that some problems are common all around the world. And certainly, our Polish educational system needs a thorough reform. And I would like to state very clearly at the beginning of this speech that I don't know how to do it. I mean, it's just too complex. There's just too much to be done. And I'm afraid that some seemingly simple solutions may just not be enough. But I do know that one small thing, something very easy and certainly affordable, may cause a huge change for the better. Maybe even begin a revolution. It would be enough if teachers were nice to their students. And I mean, really. It would be also pretty cool if they were nice to each other, but let's not be too demanding. Let's try some small steps first. Teachers need to be nice to their students. And if you think that this is banal or this is unoriginal, just think about some teachers you remember from your school time. Were they nice to you? Let me tell you why I think this is so important. When I was a kid, I never dreamt of becoming a teacher. I mean, I didn't go around the neighborhood trying to explain to everybody what present perfect is. No. I just wanted to be a rock star. But I have become a teacher. Close enough. Now, why have I become an English teacher? You see, at school, I mostly enjoyed only two subjects, history and English. Now, I still remember the name of my history teacher from primary school. I remember the way she looked. I remember the way she smiled, because she smiled a lot. I remember the funny faces she would make. She would tell us about all those battles, those amazing victories, those powerful nights. And I loved it. And I loved her. I have no idea how old she was. She was an elderly lady, but I loved her. And so, I loved her lessons. And as a result, I fell in love with history. In secondary school, I had an English teacher who was a native speaker, an American guy, with this American style, this kind of mixture of laid-backness and strictness. And he also knew how to smile. Always very nice, always very helpful, even though there were some pretty strict rules during his lessons. For example, it was absolutely impossible to cheat on his tests. And I mean, really, whatever you remember from your school, nobody cheated on his tests. Because as he once said, nobody cheats on tests in the USA, because you can go to jail for that. Now, I have no idea if that's true, still. But I believed him back then. And so I didn't cheat, and nobody did. I loved the atmosphere on his lessons. I loved the conviction that we may all speak fluent English because we all have a talent for languages. Again, I'm still not quite sure if that was true, but I believed him because I believed everything he said, because I loved his lessons. And so, when the moment came for me to decide what I should study after my secondary school, there was only this choice, the choice between English and history. Why? Because I liked those lessons. And why? Because I liked those teachers. Because no other teachers were that nice to me. Because at every other school I attended, every other teacher was just doing their jobs and nothing else. Now, if you meet such people, you just see no point in learning. And I saw no point in learning anything else except history or English. Just like that. When you are in your teens, or even younger, you don't think what may be eventually profitable or useful to learn, right? You just learn what you like. That's so easy. Now, my friend has a son. His name is Nikosh. Nikosh is 5 years old and he goes to kindergarten. He is supposed to have 2 hours of English weekly. But there's an option to have 2 more extra hours for extra money, of course. And my friend decided that maybe it wouldn't be a good idea to send Nikosh to those classes. You see, Nikosh is a little introvert and he used to have some problems with speaking in general. So she thought that, well, some possible failure might only scare him off. So she decided not to do it. But here's the problem. Because you know what? It turned out that those extra classes are conducted by the very same teacher that Nikosh has regular English with and whom Nikosh loves. He absolutely adores her. So the moment he saw her in the building, he was standing right beside her. And there was nobody in the world, and certainly nobody in that school, who would be able to explain to him that he was not supposed to join her classes that day. And so the school had to call my friend and tell her that, well, Nikosh himself decided he would join extra English. This is what being nice to your students does. And it's huge. It's like extra power you may have. It's like being Spider-Man. And when I was at the age of Nikosh, I used to think that nothing was better than being Spider-Man. Okay? This is how you inspire people, by being nice to them, by smiling at them, by treating them with kindness. And I know that sometimes it's not teachers' fault. I totally get that. I understand that the amount of paperwork you have to do, the amount of meetings you have to take part in, the amount of parents you need to talk to, that's just overwhelming. I understand that. I'm a teacher. But all this does not explain why they forgot how to smile. Remembering how to do so could help their students, but it could also help them. I know many English teachers, some of them real professionals, much more professional than me, with amazing language skills much better than mine. But when you listen to them, you just can't stop thinking about what you're going to watch on Netflix when you come back home. Because they are so freaking boring. Now, is it because they give dull examples? Well, maybe. But it's also because of the tone of their speaking and the fact that they don't smile. Like at all. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Like there was a switch at the back of their head. And you know, the moment you receive your college diploma, proving that you may now start teaching people, there's somebody coming to you and says, well, hello, congratulations on passing this final exam. Here, let me just take care of this one for you. Okay? I know they are tired, underpaid, and overworked. I know that sometimes they just see no point in smiling. But believe me, if they only tried, against all odds, that could change their lives. And I'm the walking evidence. I used to be underpaid, overworked, and oh my God, so goddamn tired. Coffee helped. But when I actually started thinking about changing my profession, when I started thinking about resigning, I thought that, well, I might as well try something different. And here are some points which I found helpful and which I still do find helpful. Treat your students like people. You know, not like somebody you need to train or grade all the time. Because grades are really not that important, trust me. Talk to your students. Be actually interested in what they want to tell you. And if so, listen to them. Oops. Yes, listen to them. You might be surprised by how many interesting things they have to tell you. And I mean, really. Give another chance. Or chances. Understand that somebody may have a bad day, or a bad week, or a month, or even a year. So what? Like, that should not allow you to form an opinion about somebody that they are bad at English. Don't do that. Understand that they may have different priorities. You never know what's going on in their heads, and treat those priorities seriously. And most of all, smile. Because that is so easy, and that starts a snowball effect. Because when you are nice to people, people are nice to you. Because when you treat people with kindness, they treat you the same. Because if you smile, they smile back. So when I have a bad day, I'm not a Robocop, and I enter a classroom and there are 15 people over there who smile at me at the very beginning of the lesson, that changes everything. That's the way it works. Be nice to your students. Smile. Show them that you're actually interested in what you're telling them about, and they will get interested as well, instantly. Well, most of them, I mean, can you imagine how difficult it is to win with Netflix if you're trying to explain what present perfect is? Just a little difficult. There's only one problem some people may have with those nice teachers, as I think we may all agree that majority of teachers are not that nice, okay? And those who are nice, they have a huge edge over the rest. And the problem is that they don't always teach the most useful subjects, if you know what I mean. So, you may want your children to learn languages and understand that they should do that as passionately as possible, but they're like, no, Dad, I don't want to study English. English is stupid. And then she goes back to playing the flute or painting on wood because she likes her arts teacher. And don't get me wrong, I think that arts as a subject is very important. It's just that some parents may not be okay with the priorities their children have. Well, I'm sorry, but there's nothing that parents can do. There's a lot that teachers can, though. In my humble opinion, if teachers were nice, if they treated other people with kindness, if they smiled a lot or more, that would not change our Polish school into a Finnish one, like magically. No. But it would be more bearable to teachers, to students, and to parents, to everybody. And this alone could be quite revolutionary. Our school needs a revolution. Let's make it a nice revolution. Now, one more thing. I know I've been talking about teachers all the time, but there's a pretty high chance that all this might refer to any other profession in the world as well. Just be nice to each other. Treat others with kindness. Smile. Because you never know who might be looking. You may be an inspiration to somebody. Thank you. Thank you very much.